Again. My name is Jennifer D, and today I'm going to be talking about Turkish coffee. So, the origin of Turkish coffee. Now, there's an Ottoman saying, what freshens up the pleasure of domestic pleasure? Fresh by hand, freshly brewed, fresh coffee freshens it up. Today, I'm going to be talking about the origin of Turkish coffee and how it has made its way into some of our most flamboyant conversations. Turkish coffee is also referred to as doli or rakui. And the story of the Turkish coffee is in of itself crazy, ridiculously cool. I mean, ironically, it doesn't even take place in Turkey. It takes place in Yemen. Now, there were these Yemeni priests in the 1500s, and they were Sufi priests, right? So these Sufi priests had goats in the mountains, and these goats were grazing, on the grass, on the pasture, the fields. And one day, all of these goats discover, they're eating something, okay? And it's making them high, like really high. And these priests are asking themselves, how did this happen? What is causing this? And that's when they discovered the fruits of coffee, Turkish coffee. Well, it wasn't Turkish coffee at the time, it was just coffee beans. And that was very big, yet it had not made its way into the whole social stratosphere until 1554. See, that's when Turkish governor of Yemen, Osmir Pasha, brought sacks of these coffee beans to Turkey. And where did he come? He went only to the city of happiness, Istanbul. And when the Sultan received these coffee beans from Ozdemir, immediately it became known as the Turkish culture. And this coffee, he brought bags of them to students to help them study. So this was just the beginning of it all. And the whole world knew that of this fruit, it was not cultivated on Turkish soil, yet it had the Turkish name. Now, let's talk about dexterity. Dexterity is the situation of one's food being made more delicious than the other. And it's not, despite being made in the same way, it's not how much Turkish coffee you add, because certain people's hands are just flavorful, let's say. Now, let's take cups for example. This is known as the finjan. It is not your typical coffee cup. And a finjan is, well, it's not paper, right? It differs in paper because those paper cups that you buy at the Starbucks cafes, where you get your macchiatos, your frappuccinos, your espressos, it's paper. It's a paper cup. What does that mean? That means, it will have the person confused. They won't know the taste. And the flavor and the consistency, you will not believe me when I say that I have never had Starbucks before. And I've never wondered, nor have I ever gotten a drink from there, because I don't see the appeal in it, right? I see the appeal in the finjan, okay? The finjan is interesting because it has a wide base and a narrow tip, right? And a finjan makes the characteristics of Turkish coffee just wholesome. Now, why is the tip narrow? The tip is narrow because when you're drinking the coffee, you just never want that foam to ever fade. Even at the last sip, you never want it to fade. And why is the slope of the finjan like that? Well, you let the slope of the hole you see right in the handle sit in your dominant hand. And you drink the size of the small coffee cup because it gives you the ideal scale of how much health you want to bring to yourself. This is what the Turks say. This is the ideal scale that people should drink of Turkish coffee. Not too much, not too little. This is the amount. Because remember, if you drink too much Turkish coffee, you'll be up for days. So, let me bring me to my next thing to talk about. Well, these cups, okay? Why is the finjan more important than the paper cups? I mean, it's as if these drinks that we have, that we see on the menus, they sort of lose themselves, you know? It's not even about the cup anymore, it's about the drink and what's in it. And that's all it becomes known. It loses its history. It becomes a culture with lessened experience, with no backstory. It's, it's, well, a trend, I'm sure. You see, people look for trends. And Turkish coffee is a gift to the world. You're gonna get people who love Turkish coffee. You're gonna get people who are addicted to it. And they might not even be Turkish, but they have assumed the culture. And they drink it like religion. I mean, it's part of their daily schedule. Now, let's talk about your day. Because what do you do in the morning? You have conversations. You talk about your life, maybe. See, when you're drinking coffee, it's deeper than a conversation. It's a deep moment in your life. You don't get too many of them. A conversation, a coffee with a person. You're talking about the moments of your life, the moments of your day, and it's the perfect time to have a small chat with your loved ones before they say leave to work. You know, this is probably the only time that you'll ever get to see them during the day. And it's all about quality time with each other. Because Turkish coffee, it's not only made with simple pleasure, but the real taste, it takes place when the coffee and the conversation molds, entangles with one another. It's like when you have a very enjoyable conversation with someone, the coffee, I swear, it tastes better. And the flavors, they become something else. Now, I, in terms, love coffee. I always drink it. But the most the most effortless moments, but the deepest moments I have is when I speak to my parents and I drink coffee with them. And we just talk about life. Whenever I go to a store and I meet someone who's Arabic, they actually invite me for a coffee in their store. They pull out the chair, we sit down, and we speak about each other, where we came from, how we came to America, our families, just speaking about just our origin. See, with coffee, it doesn't matter about the topic, what you talk about. It just matters about getting to know the other person and losing yourself with the coffee, right? And hopefully I have enough time for this because I would like to also talk about coffee grinds and fortune telling, but because this is the dress rehearsal, I don't see it to be fit right now as we are running low on time, so I will be ending it right here. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.